So tell me, what is your name and where are you from?
My name is Jeremy Kroeker, and I am from Canmore, Alberta.
And what do you do for a living?
Well, I do a couple things. I'm a garbage man. That's kind of not my passion, though. That's just how I make a living. And also I'm a writer and publisher, I guess.
So tell me, what was your first bike and how long have you been riding?
Yeah, I got my first bike when I was 13 or 14 years old, I think, and it was a Suzuki DS80, a little two-stroke. So I spent, I guess I've been riding since I was 13 or 14. I'm 42 now.
So what type of riding do you do and what motorcycle do you have now?
I've got a couple of motorcycles. I've got a KLR 650. I've done a few trips on my KLRs, different countries and whatnot, but mostly I stick to the street with the occasional foray into a gravel road or something like that. And I've also got this bike, which is a beautiful 1982 Honda CB750 Custom. And I had this thing, actually I bought it when I was 19. I sold it to my dad, and then he rode the crap out of it. So he rode this thing all over the US and Canada. And then he parked it under a tarp in Saskatchewan for like 7 years. I just kind of forgot about it. And then sadly he was diagnosed with Parkinson's and ultimately passed away. So I got the bike again. And with the help of Neville Stowe and John Paskett and whatnot, we're rebuilding this thing and making it usable again.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I love this bike for so many reasons, but it's got a lot of sentimental value to me.
So what are some of the places that you've ridden?
I mean, I mostly ride around Canada and the States. I've gone to California a few times, and but I have done a few international trips. I took my bike, my KLR, one year from Canmore to Panama and back, so through Central America and Mexico. And I did a trip through Europe and then into the Middle East and North Africa.
So does any one experience stand out most, and if so, why?
Yeah, I rode through a wicked dust storm in Syria on that trip. So for 8 hours I was riding about maybe 40 kilometers an hour, which is like 25 miles an hour. And it was pretty brutal, but also an adventure, right? Adventures typically manifest themselves as adventures when they're done. So at the time I was not super happy about it, but yeah, looking back on it, I'm glad it happened, and that's probably the most interesting motorcycling moment I've had.
Cool. So tell me, what is one valuable lesson that riding motorcycles has taught you about life in general?
That's a big question. I'm going to say riding motorcycles. It's about being fiercely independent. Like most people who are on bikes are so because they love their freedom and they love expressing their individuality. But at the same time, it's a family of people who feel this way. So even though you're wildly independent, you've got a team behind you. And I think that's what I've learned, is that it's a real community once you get into it.
I agree. Is there anything you'd like to add?
I mean, I've written 2 books about my trips. I've got one called Motorcycle Therapy, and that's a Canadian bestseller, and I've got another one called Through Dust and Darkness, and that's about my trip through Europe and the Middle East and North Africa and stuff.
And where can we buy them?
You can get them on Amazon. I always tell people to go to their local independent bookstore first. If they can get them there, shop local, support the little guys. Or you can find them on my website, which is motorcycletherapy.com. And Renadian Adventures, Renee owes me a beer. Although I probably owe him much more than that, so he's a good friend of mine.
Cool. Well, thank you for your time and safe travels.
Thanks.